Hello, everyone. My name is Carl, and today I'll be talking about Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. This game was developed and published by Nintendo on July 13th, 2018, for the Nintendo Switch. And it is rated E for everything for mild cartoon violence. This game is the first ever with Toad or a Toad rather, in a starring role, and it ties into the Captain Toad character that has appeared in various other Super Mario properties. This was originally a Wii U game, actually. It's a port over of that Wii U game, um, as Nintendo has done with basically every Wii U game worth anything. It's ported over to Switch, and it follows the exploits of Captain Toad to try and find Toadette and track down treasure along the way after she is spirited away by the greedy bird Wingo. Going into this game, I was interested in how they were going to port the Wii U version over to the Switch because I had played the Wii U version, and I did enjoy it. Spoiler alert. And so I figured, you know what? I didn't maybe 100% or whatever. I can do that on the Switch. I love the Switch anyway, and I wanted to see the different things that they did. As you can see here, it says featuring new courses based on Super Mario Odyssey. The Wii U version it differs slightly in that, and I'll talk about that later in the story section. So, on to the body of the review. The gameplay itself, the game is separated into, for the most part, a bunch of very small contained levels that like all fit on one screen. There are some that are bigger, but most of them are very small. Um, and this was actually built off of a concept in Super Mario 3D World. There's a few like Captain Toad Treasure Tracker esque levels in there. So this takes that, if you've played that game, and takes it to a whole game and expands upon it. So what it is like a small level that you can turn around to the camera. You turn like the entire level around so you can look in and out nooks and crannies of it, and you navigate Captain Toad. You steer him along to go around and get to the end with and find the star. And there's also little gems hidden about. So if you get multiple of those, you get extra stuff. Blah 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 blah. That sort of thing. Find the treasure. Don't die. But another twist that's like different with Captain Toad as compared with other Super Mario games is Toad can't jump. He's got a really heavy backpack, so he cannot jump. So you need to deal with climbing ladders, falling off stuff, walking up ramps, stuff like that. So if you want to, increase your elevation, you can't jump, and you can't jump on enemies. So unless you have a weapon or something, you can't take out enemies unless you fall off and land on them, or have another way to take them out. So that kind of um, adds to the puzzle aspect. The enemies aren't really supposed to be a challenge to beat. It's not supposed to be hard to like take out the Goombas and whatnot. Are there Goombas in this game? Whatever, the Shy Guys, whoever it is. It's more of a puzzle to say, okay, if I want to take this guy out, how should I do it? How can I maneuver around these enemies? It's a very, very simple premise, very dialed in mechanics. It's not a deep combat system or anything like that. Uh, it's just taking those basic things and combining them with different level mechanics and different items and stuff to push, take the puzzle to the fullest, the farthest it can go. And in that regard, it does it very well. There's nothing groundbreaking here. There's nothing absolutely awe-inspiring how this game was developed, but similar to a lot of Super Mario games, it takes a very simple premise and pushes it as far as it can go to continue to be creative and do surprising things to keep the game fresh. Um, Another thing it does well uh, is adapting parts of the Wii U game that were made specifically for the gamepad. If you're not aware, with the Wii U, like the big gimmick was that it had a gamepad with a touchscreen on it. So there were some levels in there, for example, that if you touched a part of the level, it would move. But obviously, if you're playing the Switch in docked mode on the TV, there is no touchscreen. I believe in handheld mode you can still touch it, but I played it with in docked mode, and they like translate it really well with like a motion control pointer. So it's not like a pointer at a sensor bar like the Wii was, but like it just tracks the gyro of your remote and then translates that to a pointer on the screen. And that was very intuitive, very smooth. As someone who has played the Wii U version and the Switch version, it didn't feel like um extremely like hindering to me. It didn't feel like I was trying to struggle. So I was very pleasantly surprised to see that this game does not really suffer at all for being on the Switch and not having a gamepad to play on. So yeah, that's it gameplay wise. But onto the story. The story, very very simple presence, or very simple premise rather. Um, Toad and Toadette, Captain Toad and Toadette find a star. They go get it, and a greedy bird called Wingo swoops in, grabs it before they can get to it, and then Toadette jumps onto the star, tries to take it away, but I mean it's a giant bird. It just flies off without her. So Captain Toad tries to find Toadette, and track treasure along the way. But interestingly enough, that's not the whole game, and I don't feel bad about saying this because like literally the description on the official website does. But once you find Toadette, then you have a whole section of the game where you play as Toadette. So it's kind of cool seeing her suit up, like put the little headlamp on and backpack and go do her own side of the story. So while the story had like no dialogue, right? It's not gonna blow you away. It was sweet to kind of see this like friendly dynamic of like, oh, I gotta go save this person, I gotta go do this, and the fact that you could play as both Toad and Toadette, in their own little stories and see where they went. Um, Interestingly enough, with the story, the Wii U version was specifically made to tie into Super Mario 3D World. Like I said before, they pulled some level concepts, pulled this games concept based off a little mini game within Super Mario 3D World where you could control Captain Toad. Um, so in the Wii U version, you had tie-in levels with 3D World, and the ending tied in with 3D World. And you could access those early if you had save data with 3D World. In this game, the tie-in was with Super Mario Odyssey. So there's a few levels, like a little New Donk City inspired one, where you can like travel Super Mario Odyssey locations, and so you can access those once you beat the game, or you can access them early if you have any of the Super Mario Odyssey wedding amiibo, and you scan that. So that's cool because I had that. And also, the ending of this game ties into Super Mario Odyssey instead of 3D World. So it's kind of interesting between the Wii U. You will be getting a little bit different content, not necessarily more content, but different content if you get the Switch version versus the Wii U version. Not enough to sway. Like I don't really care either way. I'm not gonna say, hey, the 3D World stuff was much better than the Wii U version. Whatever. The graphics and the art style. I mean, if I show you this, that's what the graphics look like. Easy peasy, right here. It's cute little clean graphics. Doesn't really, it looks nice. If you've seen uh a Super Mario game, 3D Super Mario game recently, like it's like that. I mean, the the models aren't that high res in the first place, so they don't look bad. That's it. Music. I know I say this every time. I'm not a music guy, but this game, I literally cannot remember any of the music from this game, any of the soundtrack at all. I know it's been like 3+ years since I played it, but like that either means that it's really forgettable music or I'm remembering music that is from the game that also happens to like be ripped like beat for beat from other games, other Mario games. I don't know, whichever the case. I don't think this has a soundtrack. Uh, you know, a good soundtrack, a good standalone soundtrack by itself. I was trying to think of like any noises or anything that I could remember, and the only thing that came to mind was in this game, since you can't jump, there are no coin blocks. So instead of getting coins from blocks you jump into, there are turnips that you can pull up, and you'll get a coin. You'll get a coin once you unroot it. And there's, unlike some coin blocks that you can hit multiple times to get coins, in this game there's turnips that you can hit or pull multiple times to get multiple coins. So the only thing I remember is Toad going as he pulls a bunch of coins out of a multi-coin block, and that is the only thing I remember. Um, so yeah, that's it for music. DLC wise, there is DLC. When I was looking up like the Wikipedia page, I had completely forgotten that there was paid DLC. It's like $6 and it's some extra levels. I did not play it. I believe when it came out, like by the time I came out, I had already 100% of the game, so I had no like desire to go back to it. I was playing other games, so I have not played it. I would imagine it's similar to the past, to the the main game, just more of the same. So if you like it, get it, I guess. But like I said, didn't play it, so I can't speak to that. But yeah, on to my conclusion and my recommendation. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. It's a really nice, chill, cute little game. There's not a lot of action. It's mostly just kind of puzzle, not platforming even because you can't even jump. So it's all about searching out all the treasure and figuring out how to get to it. So if you're someone that's looking for a nice little game to play, surprisingly, it's only $40. Usually Nintendo insists that all its Switch games are 60. So I'm happy for that. And I think there's a nice, decent amount of content for that. But yeah, if you're a hardcore gamer, I'd say maybe give it a miss. There's not deep combat or story or whatever. But if you're looking for a fun little game, uh, I'd say pick it up. And on that note, I'll give it a 7. It is a solid game. It doesn't blow my brain. It doesn't do anything exceptionally well. But then again, it does what it wants to do well. There were no points where I thought it was a slog or thought it was boring. I just had a solid experience throughout. So yeah, what did you all think? If you picked up Captain Toad as well, would you recommend you pick it up? If you played it on Wii U, would you recommend you play it again on Switch? I wouldn't. It's the same game basically. Um, if you have any questions, comments, and concerns, please feel free to drop them down below because I read all my comments. But other than that, stay safe out there, folks, and have a good one. Bye.